Here is Stugotz's weekend observation.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Dan, after a week and a half off, which incidentally, when you combine it all, was your 8th week off since October 3rd, Dan, we are back. And I am proud of you.
I mean, I'd like to take some more time.
Really? I mean,
I'm seeing how I could do it.
8 since October?
You're looking at Super Bowl week?
It'd be a good time to do it.
Odd. I went 32-14-1 since week 6. Not a peep. Dan, we missed Black Monday, a day where white head coaches are fired and ultimately replaced by other white head coaches. Trevor Lawrence can scoot. Clemson, Ohio State. Felt like I was watching a pro game. I'm confused. Is Doug Marrone still coaching the Jags or not? The most shocking thing to happen to me over the break was wondering who was filling in for us, turning on my radio to find out, and discovering it was Mike Tannenbaum. A great show. Tannenbaum crushed it.
Guy was running the Dolphins. Now he's a fill-in for us.
Killed it. Tannenbaum. That was Bobby Carpenter. I checked it a couple of days later. Amazing. Big neck. Christmas Day. Or as I like to call it, Jews get the golf course all to themselves day. I had a blast.
I ain't celebrating nothing about Jesus today. Four.
No reason to call four. It's the only one out there. Where was I? On his boat, in the Keys, Christmas Day, catching mahi, Jimmy Johnson has life by the you-know-whats.
He really does.
Dan, you know what the whats means?
I don't know.
By the testicles, Dan. Jimmy has life by the
Never
testicles.
heard that.
Okay, very good. In 2020, do we know that life is male? Anyway, moving on.
Speaking of testicles,
2025.
Jason Garrett doesn't have any.
Oh, come on. But he might be like a mannequin.
Dave Hyde tweeting Mahi Christmas in response to Jimmy Johnson. Thank you.
Mahi
I had to say it a few times before I got it.
Mahi Christmas. Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Mahi Christmas. Funny or not funny?
I expected that coming from another South Florida sports writer.
He's probably upset.
He didn't think of it himself. Greg Cody is furious. Oh, Dave Hyde beat me on the Mahi Christmas joke.
Jimmy Johnson doesn't love life. Life loves Jimmy Johnson. Lamar Jackson, don't take another snap until you get paid. You hear me? Not a snap. Nothing
What
says
a great holdout that would be.
right before a
Right
playoff
now.
game.
Just right now. No, I ain't doing it.
Not a snap. Oh, man. Nothing says Christmas like a 5 p.m. NBA game involving Willie Cauley-Stein, Alec Burks, and Glenn Robinson III. These aren't your 3-year-olds, Golden State Warriors. Even your 2-year-olds.
Really not. They're not even. They are not your 2-year-olds, Golden State Warriors.
Life lesson. If Willie Cauley-Stein is playing meaningful minutes for your team is not good. And meaningful is what I tried to say there. 2 years from now, the Dolphins have a chance of being very good. Now that he's going back to the NFL, who do you think replaces Jack Del Rio at ESPN? Any guesses, Dan?
I don't know.
My money's on Pat Shurmur.
Oh, let's think about this for a second. How about Jay Gruden?
Ooh, Gruden's really good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's got to be a guy who's likely never going to get a head coach. Like, you got to go to ESPN, do that for a couple of years, come back as a coordinator, like Del Rio did.
Become a fill-in on our show during the holidays.
Although Pat Shermer just seems like such a natural at this.
He'd be terrible. ESPN, don't hire Shermer, all right? Don't do that, because I'll crush you.
You know they're in talks.
I'm going to crush you. I'm going to crush you, all right? ESPN, if you hire Shermer, I'm going to crush you on air.
Unless, of course, he threatens to go to Fox. Then let's snag him up.
I'm not certain it's possible for Joe Burrow to live up to the expectations that he himself created. The Dolphin thing I just said, completely useless.
It really is.
I'm sorry. Death, taxes, and the Sooners laying an egg. Niners, Seahawks, game of inches. The greatest thing in sports is watching Tyreek Hill easily track down his own teammate, who is also a world-class athlete, running as fast as he can. 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Perfect. The last 5 seasons, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 4 fewer interceptions than Jameis Winston through this season. Ohio State, Clemson, one for the ages. It's 2020. We're still hiring Changeli?
We are.
I was believing in Brian Flores right up until that hire.
It's funny.
It really was. That's why I said a couple of years the Dolphins could be good.
Have you ever met another Chan? First name Chan.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Have you ever met a Chan?
Losing to the Dolphins at home, losing the 2 seed, losing the bye week, all part of the master plan. Glory be to God. Jesus, Dabo, we get it. Tom Herman, you weren't hired by Texas to win the Alamo Bowl. The Browns couldn't handle the heat, so they got out of the kitchens. Indiana Pacers, quietest 22-12 start in NBA history. The second-ranked high school quarterback of the 21 class decommitted from Oklahoma. You know what that means, Dan?
What's it mean?
It means the writing's on the wall.
Oh, I thought it meant testicle.
This Matt Rule really knows what he wants. This guy's turning down jobs left and right. New Bears GM, Ryan Pace, said Mitchell Trubisky will be the Bears quarterback, starting quarterback, next season. Cute. If the Giants hire Mike McCarthy, they'll be the only NFL team whose GM and coach don't know how to turn on a computer. A tradition, unlike any other, the pursuit of Josh McDaniels. Jason Garrett said he wants to be the coach of the Cowboys, extending his streak of days saying absolutely nothing to 10,221. Love the Rose Bowl. I do. But unless it's hosting a playoff game, it's meaningless. Why, you thought I was going to go in on the Rose Bowl there?
I didn't know. I love but usually doesn't have good consequences for the I love but.
I love Mike Ryan, but he's approaching mute status on Twitter.
Put it on poll.
I think he knows it.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. He does know it. Is Mike Ryan approaching mute status on Twitter?
Not a lot of English soccer fans out there in our audience.
You're killing me, man. Florida Gators. We're tied at 14 against LSU at Death Valley. That's it. That's all I got. How do we know? Speaking of the Pacers, they play the Pelicans while we were away, Dan. The game marked the first time in history 3 brothers shared the court. Aaron, Justin, and Drew Holiday. Dan, you know what that game was?
No.
It was a holiday party.
I was going to say testicles this time.
I mean, it was a holiday party. It is. It was.
When did Twitter become the obituary page of the newspaper? We feel the need. Everyone share their stories. Baylor coach. Here's a life rule. Strike while the iron's hot. I've now watched 3 live sets of Dead and Company with Bill Walton. High-fived him each time. He's been on my podcast, yet somehow he still has no idea who I am. Headline, 49ers goal after earning the top seed. Move forward to the Super Bowl. Not sure who wrote it, but guessing it's a writer named Captain Obvious. Carmelo Anthony returned to Madison Square Garden, scored 26 points, while his team lost by 24. It's like he never left. The Citrus Bowl, otherwise known as Neither Team Wanted to Be Their Bowl. I'd rather be in Art Briles' hell than Jason Garrett's purgatory. By the way, Don Larson died too. Dan, those are the weekend observations.